for tuning in. I'm doing another chicken video. The last time I did a chicken video, I had a drink container like this, and I had root beer in it. This time I have Dr. Pepper. Now the reason I'm doing another chicken video is because I love this chicken. The city I live in is only a population of about 100,000 people. And we have 4 chicken franchises. KFC, Lee's Chicken. This is Lee's Chicken. It's my favorite. The spicy extra crispy. We have Mary Brown's Chicken, which is very good. And we also have Popeyes. We just got Popeyes about a year ago. I tried Popeyes once. Wasn't crazy about it. I will give them a second chance because I believe everybody deserves a second chance. So, anyways, that's what I'm going to do is I'll give them a second chance eventually. But right now I'm starving, so I'm going to dig into my spicy extra crispy. Wow, so good. The reason I mentioned this drink is all my life I don't remember ever liking root beer. Never liked it. My sister said, well, you liked it when you were a little kid, but I don't remember. Never liked root beer. So about 5 years ago, I decided I'm going to try root beer and try to figure out what it is about root beer that I don't like. So I bought a can of root beer, tasted it. It was delicious. I tasted kind of weird, I remember, but it wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed it. And I'm not sure why I never liked it. I honestly don't know. But I guess it's one of those things I just decided I didn't like when I was a kid. And for like 50 years I never drank it. So I was missing out. But Dr. Pepper, when I used to see Dr. Pepper in the store when I was a little kid, I never liked the name. I thought pepper, it's probably kind of spicy or something weird, you know. When you're a little kid, you want to got so much money, you don't want to take a chance of buying something you might not like. So, I remember when I tried cherry cola. I love cherry cola. And I was telling a friend of mine, I said, I really like cherry cola. And he said, well, you would probably like Dr. Pepper, because Dr. Pepper's kind of like cherry cola. So I thought, okay, well, I'll try it. I love Dr. Pepper. Now, I always thought it was kind of like cherry cola, but about 17 or 18 years ago, I met this guy, a little bit older than me. He's a ex-Vietnam vet. And so anyways, he really liked Dr. Pepper. And he was telling me that he thought it was like a prune flavor. And I thought, prune, that's kind of weird. I mean, a prune is like a dehydrated plum. Like, where do you get a prune flavor? But he said that's what it was. He was pretty sure it was a prune flavor. And he should know because he was like a real connoisseur. He would drink about 6 cans a day at least. You know, he would easily go through a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper in a day, sometimes more. I mean, I drink a lot of coffee. My girlfriend Linda drinks a lot of Earl Grey tea. But he drank Dr. Pepper all the time. You rarely saw him without a can of Dr. Pepper in his hand. So anyway, he insisted it was prune flavor. I said, no, I think it's more like a cherry cola. So I emailed the Dr. Pepper company. And I asked them exactly what is their flavor. And they thanked me for being a customer. And they're happy I was enjoying their drink. And they said, well, some people think it tastes like this, some people think it tastes like that. They never came out and told me what the flavor was. wasn't asking for the ingredients. I just wanted to know what their major flavor was. You know, they were very polite, but they wouldn't really tell me anything. Love the biscuits. So my friend Thomas, like I said, he was a real Dr. Pepper connoisseur. So anyways, Thomas he's married to this lady named Crystal. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. Thomas and Crystal are married for a number of years. But Crystal used to be married to my old neighbor, Fred. And they used to live in my neighborhood. Crystal and Fred were my neighbors. They lived on the same side of the street as I did. I think there's about 2 houses in between mine and theirs. They were just up the street on the same side, 2 houses apart. So anyway, when my ex and I moved in that neighborhood, that was in 1983, we bought our first house there. And all the neighbors were quite friendly. Crystal and Fred were a little bit standoffish. But Fred was the quintessential macho man, real macho. He was probably about 5'10", big arms, barrel chest, always wore a black t-shirt. In good shape, you know, he dyed his hair black, very short. I think most women in the neighborhood would have thought he was an attractive man. But he was a welder, he had his own business. And he was always very macho, you know, like, not at all, you know, weak or vulnerable, nothing like that. He was always that real macho guy. Come down and talk to me. Like one time I was working on my fence. Came down and talked to me. He's kind of leaning on the fence. Doesn't make a lot of eye contact, but just always, you know, rarely cracked a smile. But just that whole macho tough guy thing, right? But pleasant. So anyway, his wife Crystal, or his ex-wife, they always give you too many fries. She was kind of, no disrespect, but she was kind of plain Jane. You know, always wore blue jeans with the cuffs rolled up on the bottom of her pants, and a lot of times you wear like a camouflage halter top, or, you know, dark hair, quite thin. Not a very flashy person at all. She drove a black pickup truck. And Fred drove a muscle car. And during the summertime, he always had the top down. And he'd drive by, and he had that that sort of cow print type seat covers. It was hilarious. It was funny, but anyways, him and Crystal, they had CB radios. They're always talking to each other on the CB radios. I saw him drive by once. They both left the house in separate vehicles, and he was following her. I could see them talking on their CB. They're talking to each other. It's kind of funny. To each their own. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just trying to paint you a picture here. Anyway. Fast forward to 1996. I remember it was 1996 because we had a huge blizzard that year. But earlier in the year, around late spring, early summer, told me this himself. This one day, Crystal said she had a sick relative back east. And then about a week later, she said that relative had passed away. And she had to go back east to the funeral. Now we're on the west coast. She was going all the way back to the east coast. So anyways, off she goes. So she's supposed to be gone for a few days. So the night before she's supposed to come home, she phones Fred. And he thinks she's phoning to let him know what time she'll be in on the next day at the airport, that kind of thing. Well, she phones him and tells him that her plane ticket was one way and she was never coming back. And she had no intention of coming back, and she was filing for divorce. As it turned out, there never was a funeral. She had gone back there to meet Thomas because they'd been chatting online for months, and they fell in love, and she wanted to be with Thomas because that's where Thomas lived at the time. So Fred told me that when you got that phone call, it was like a cannonball to the guts. Said the room started spinning, he could barely breathe. I mean, he couldn't believe what he was hearing. So of course he was devastated. He hung up the phone. He hung up the phone, went into the bedroom, opened up her closet. Most of her clothes are gone. Her jewelry's gone. And he didn't really know this until then, right? And he told me that, a day earlier or so, he opened up the medicine cabinet. He thought it looked kind of neat and tidy. And he thought that Crystal had just straightened up. But she took, all of her stuff out of there, so that's why it looked so neat and tidy. Half the stuff was missing. He even told me that when he gave her a ride to the airport, that her suitcase, she had a big suitcase that felt really heavy. And he made a joke like, "Are you going away for a month?" And she said she had some extra clothes she was going to give to her niece or something at the funeral, something like that. And then as it turned out, unbeknownst to Fred, I even need these little bones. She had sent some of her clothes back east about 2 weeks at a time. She boxed them all up and sent them back east. So a lot of her stuff was waiting for her when she got there. So, like I said, Fred was devastated. Now, I didn't know about this until my neighbor across the street, Rod, he's a fisherman, him and his wife are lovely people. They had 3 kids just like my ex and I did. We had 3 kids, they had 3 kids. Very similar. He told me about it. And I remember I noticed that Crystal's truck hadn't moved in weeks because she used to park on the street and Fred would park in the driveway. And her truck just sat there. I didn't really think nothing of it. I noticed it, but I didn't dwell on it. across the street. Thought it'd be a nice gesture if we went over. And had a visit with Fred. Showed him some support. I thought, sure. So we go over there with a 6-pack of beer. Ring the doorbell. Fred answers. He looked like Quasimodo. He was all bent over. He looked terrible. Honest to God, this man was normally about 220. I think he was down to like 150 pounds. He looked terrible. My neighbor Roddy, he kind of joked to me. He said, I don't know if Fred's lost weight because of all the stress or if it's because he has to eat all his own cooking. Anyways, we sat in the backyard, 3 of us. And Fred, here's this guy that was always so macho. He was sitting in that chair. He looked like he was about 6 years old. He looked like a little boy sitting there. He was an absolute puddle, just a puddle. I felt very sorry for him. So later that year, we got the big blizzard of '96. That's how I remembered, memory by association. Because by then Fred and Crystal sold their house. And they both moved on. Crystal was with Thomas and Fred moved out and guess he rented an apartment or something, I'm not sure, but just chicken so good. Tender and juicy on the inside and crispy and spicy on the outside. So anyway, he moved out. I remember that big snowfall that winter. I remember looking at their house. There's different vehicles. I saw the husband and wife out there shoveling snow. Different people, different kids. It was a whole different scenario. Anyways, so Crystal was back east with Thomas, and she would come out periodically, apparently, to see her kids. She had 3 kids. Now, she had 3 kids. I heard Fred had 3 kids. Now, the oldest one, at this point, had a baby. And Crystal was now her grandmother. And she wanted to be involved in that baby's life. So she was going to move out here. Back out to the West Coast. So that's what her and Thomas did. They packed up. Thomas sold his house. And they moved out here to the West Coast. So anyway, by the way, if you have any opinions on my Dr. Pepper, what the flavor is, I'd be happy to hear from you. Just send a comment as to what flavor you think Dr. Pepper is. I'd be curious to know what you think. Anyway, so my ex-wife and I, we had a big circle of friends, and a group of us used to go out about once a month for dinner. There's usually, 3, 4, 5 couples, 8 or 10 of us, whatever, sometimes more. And we'd meet at a family restaurant or a pub, whatever, have a meal, catch up. So this one day we go there. parmesan just down a little ways. And one of the guys in our group said that he had brought along his new neighbors because they wanted to meet people they lived in the time before where she did, and they wanted to meet some people. So okay, so I didn't recognize him, but she looked very familiar. I thought, wow, that looks like Crystal. Looks very much like her. But then I couldn't be sure because her hair used to be dark, now it's blonde. And she used to be kind of plain Jane, now she was very flashy, fingernails, and she had some ink and jewelry, and she looked totally different, but still, her face looked the same. So he introduces us, and I said, "Oh, Crystal, I recognize you from your neighborhood." She goes, "I thought that was you guys." So she recognized us, we recognized her. And that was how I met her husband, Thomas. Very interesting man. Vietnam vet, and he really danced. He's a ballroom dancer. And he taught Crystal how to dance, but she's not as good as he is, but he's really good. He gave my ex and I a few dancing lessons, but I don't know if you've ever seen the original Frankenstein movie, where Frankenstein's afraid of fire. He's going, ah. Well, that's what I'm like on the dance floor. That's about how I look. So, Thomas tried hard to teach me how to dance, but I just don't have the moves for it. Anyway, we got to know them all over again. We'd go to parties at their place. We'd locked up together. They became part of our social circle. And unfortunately, when my ex and when we split up, a lot of the people we saw as a couple, I no longer see. Some I do, but not all of them. That's just the way it goes. But I ran into Fred about 5 years ago. Back to his normal self, looking really good. He's got a girlfriend, he's happy. And Crystal and Thomas. I was having a coffee with a buddy of mine at this nice outdoor cafe downtown at the waterfront. And I saw Crystal and Thomas walk by with their little dog. So they seem to be doing good. But it's, I like happy endings. I love a happy ending. And I was just happy that Fred managed to get his life back together. And he bought another house. And he's found somebody. And they travel and all that. So I'm very happy for him. I'm happy for Crystal too. And I'm happy that you're watching my video. Wow. Way too many fries. Good chicken though. There's no way I could drink as much Dr. Pepper as what Thomas did. I'd have a splitting headache. I love Dr. Pepper, but I couldn't drink it all day. I remember after my ex and I split up, I was dating a few women, and this one lady and I went to see a movie, The King's Speech. And we went to see like a 4 o'clock showing or something. And we're going to go for dinner after. And we walk in there and she wanted to get some popcorn, and I said, well, and a drink. I said, well, we're going for 2 small drinks about the same size. $50 later. By the time I walked out of that theater, I had a splitting headache from drinking so much pop. I mean, in the movie theater, a small drink is twice the size of that. Anyways, gotta wipe my fingers off here. Well, that's good chicken. Really good chicken. Oh, well, my friends, I think I'm kind of full. I don't think I need too much more. But I thank you for tuning in. I hope you're healthy and happy and in a good place in your life, and that you're surrounded by love. I thank you again for stopping in, and you take care, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. Okay, bye-bye now.